Thursday Talk.
Hey, happy Thursday!
Happy Thursday,
What's up,
everyone!
everybody? Welcome to Thursday Talks. This is our
Yes,
third. Is it our third session? Second session pala.
Second.
second
Joke
for
lang
the
talaga.
year.
Confused ako, diba? Good evening,
Kasi
everybody. This
lang
is
kayong magkakasama.
Oo. Medyo, diba? Parang minsan din lang tayo magkasama, no? Alright. So, welcome to Thursday Talks. My name is Nico. Over here is Gwenny. And
Hi,
Mikey is down there.
Hey
Happy
guys.
Thursday, everybody. Wala si Ben. Ben is has prior commitment, so nagto-talk siya
Yeah.
somewhere right now. But we'd like to say hi to him also. I think he'll be watching
Daniel.
this later. Right. And so welcome everybody. This is our second session of the year 2021. And I think it's going
Yeah.
to be one fun topic for tonight. But before that, we'd like to check on some of our friends. Some of our friends, pero ang dami. Ayan si Lance Lucas talaga. Nag-hi sa atin.
Hello.
Yan,
And
bagong-bago
hola.
yan. Hola! Yes.
Hola.
Yes. Okay, so, Gwenny, ano ba yung pag-uusapan natin tonight? Before anything else.
Yes. No, for those na nakasubaybay sa amin, you might already have an idea of what we're gonna talk about. But for those na, medyo kinlik lang yung pop-up. We're actually gonna talk about something that we call as sparks. And by that, we're referring to soul sparks in particular. We're also trying to
Yes.
define what that is, and we're gonna talk about what those sparks are for you. Are you able to
Yan.
identify them? You know exactly what they are for you,
Right.
and what do they do for you? And so that's something that
Yes.
you guys can share with us sa ating conversation. So go type into your comments, no? Join us in our conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
to hear from you as well. So yeah, soul spark
Yes.
topic for the year. I think it's very timely, Nico and Mike, that we're talking about this so early in the year.
Right.
Usually, diba, we talk about New Year's resolutions, diba,
Mhm.
our
Yeah.
goals, but this is something a little bit more unique. And I think it's very relevant in connection to goals to
Mhm.
actually
Mhm.
understand more about sparks, soul sparks, and how they can actually help you achieve these
Right.
goals.
Right. Right. But before we can actually proceed with our conversation, let's watch this short video. I think we posted this on our socials, so let's watch
Mhm.
this. All right, there you go. So,
Nice
Ah,
video.
yes.
and,
Ganda na. Ayun, so what is your spark? I mean, siguro before we proceed to that, we can probably like talk about what the spark is. I think when you made mention of soul spark, ano nga ba tong spark na to?
Yes, I think by definition, because people might ask, what specific spark are you referring to? You guys
Mm-hmm.
hear me? Might
Yeah.
starting trying out
Yes.
a
Yes.
new one. Yeah, so there are different kinds of sparks, really. Of course, we're not talking about the actual spark match, di ba? Or yung
Mm-hmm.
sparking someone, di ba? Like Isita mo or something. But we're specifically referring to soul sparks, which are actually
Mm-hmm.
those little ignitions that come
Right.
from deep inside you or deep inside someone that
Mm-hmm.
can start a big change, perhaps, or a change in
Mm-hmm.
direction in your life, or
Mm-hmm.
perhaps something, a big endeavor that you'd like to actually pursue. So
Mm-hmm.
these are ignitions of inspiration that help you start something,
Right.
diba? So kaya siya soul spark because it's coming from deep within you. It's
Yeah.
not exactly something tangible, right? But
Right.
it's supposed to start that fire in you to
Mm-hmm.
want to do something, inspire you to want to do something. How about you, Mikey? What's your take on the soul spark?
Well, I agree with you, no? And I guess one of the things that I'm referring to, or I referred to or used as a reference would be yung movie na Soul. Kasi
Yeah.
I saw it recently, di ba? So, basically, a spark is basically, but ang daming basically. Well, it's kind of hard to explain, di ba? Kasi it's not really something that you can put into words. And I think
Yeah.
for different individuals, there's different definitions of it, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So, on a personal note, siguro on one level, a spark could be something like you mentioned, something that ignites something. So whether that
Right.
be creativity or maybe it spurs you into some kind of action, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it ignites sort of like this determination in you to I don't know, champion a cause or something like that.
Right.
But ultimately, for me, it is something that is very internal, di ba? Kasi I know that there are others who might be motivated by extrinsic things, but I think for me personally, a spark is something um, that lights within, di ba? And then it goes outwards. Now, that spark may have been ignited by somebody else's, I don't know, flame, or di ba? Parang you saw someone do something, or you felt something because of what someone did, di ba? And that ignites a spark in you, and it spurs you to either a thought process, an action, or maybe even just to make a decision. Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for me. And it's a spark because it's something quite, I would say, parang it starts off as a genome.
Yeah. Wala pa
Like
yung
it
that.
start
genome
off
na
as
yan.
uh, it start off as a nucleus, sabi, di ba? But then parang it's parang because it is a spark, it ignites a flame, and
Yeah.
then that flame is what other people see now, di ba? Parang
Right.
so parang for me, parang that's the analogy that I would like to use there. So it can be, I guess, different for different individuals, and I think depending on where you are in your life or what stage
Mm-hmm.
you are in your life, there can be
Mm-hmm.
something different as well. Like for example, and I'm not sure if we can call it a motivation, di ba? Kasi parang a motivation may be a type of spark, but a motivation can also be a manifestation
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
spark, di ba? So I
Right.
can't
Right.
really use that word. Pero yun nga parang siguro when you're younger, your spark is really more about well, it manifests more in being creative, di ba? Kasi
Right.
parang you are just discovering the world around you, you're realizing how things work, and then you're also realizing what you can do um, around those things, di ba? And
Yeah.
then when you're older, it's more about navigating the system. So probably your spark is more on living a good life, or carving
Mm-hmm.
a better future, di ba? Or maybe
Mm-hmm.
leaving a legacy behind, di ba? So, those types of things. So um, siguro later on, if we are going to talk about our specific
Yeah.
siguro goals in relation to our spark, then that could
Yeah.
be another discussion.
Right.
Ayun.
Right.
Right.
Right. So there's more context if we talk about our specific sparks later. It
Mm-mm.
will come into play. It will make more sense now what we're saying here, right? I'd like to
Mm-mm.
share also. We'd like to share also what Lance is saying about spark. The spark could answer one of these questions. I think he's also agreeing with what you two
Mm.
said a while ago. No, what will ignite your mind? What makes
Mm.
you tick in your life, and what makes your heart feel? Yeah. So kabuuan talaga siya, no? It's something, sabi ni Mike, intrinsic. It's something internal, not necessary, but it's not
Mm-mm.
necessarily motivation, right? It could be
Yeah.
like motivation is like a manifestation, right, or consequence of
Mm-mm.
that specific spark, no. But a good thing that
Yeah.
Mikey made mention of the soul, no, the soul, ano the soul, the animation soul.
So,
Yes, it's a really nice movie.
So
yeah.
please watch that.
Super.
So dun talaga tayo nanggaling. That's why we thought about this topic
Mm-mm.
tonight because it was really a very heartfelt, heartwarming animation na hindi ko in-expect na magiging ganun talaga siya. No? Medyo naiyak ko ng konti. Char. Ayan. Good thing,
Actually, yes.
di ba?
Oo,
Kasi ano eh,
totoo.
kasi ano siya eh, although we can discuss about this later, no? Kasi may concept of predestination dun eh, na people are predestined to be as such, no? May mga personalities na, but sa may predestination siya, but it's a whole different discussion naman. Later we can talk about that. Siguro in reference to Soul, the animation, maganda yung mga quotes
Mm-mm.
eh. I sort of like, I was able to like search for the quotes though. Jerry was like the, ano tawag dun? Yung mga heads dun sa
The
heaven.
pianist? Oh,
Yeah, what do you
oh,
call
Sila yung mga
Jerry.
ano, quantum
Parang mga
uh,
kineme.
caretakers. Parang they're part
Caretakers, yes.
uh,
of the
parang
you, di ba?
coaches in a way.
Yeah,
Yes, 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 yes.
yes, yes,
Or
yes.
admins. Sila yung admins kasi may
Sort
mga
of.
mentors eh. Yeah.
Tapos lahat sila Jerry, di ba? Okay, Jerry.
Yeah.
So funny.
Sino,
With a
di ba?
J. With a J.
Uh,
Right. It's with a J, correct? Yeah. So, one Jerry said that a spark isn't a soul's purpose. Doubt. This was quoted from
yeah.
the animation, and
Mm-mm.
sabi niya, these are your purposes, your meanings of life. So basic, sabi niya. And then 22. Sige, later na lang si 22. Joe, the main
When
character, si 22 yung soul doon eh, di ba? Si
right.
Joe naman, he said that your spark isn't necessarily your purpose. Okay. That last box fills in when you're ready to come live. Diba? Sabi ko, ang strong ng line eh. Napakasimple lang, pero it means a lot. Maganda rin tong quote from 22. The little soul doon, yung bagong soul na hindi talaga matapon-tapon sa mundo.
Mm.
Sabi niya,
Yeah.
maybe sky watching can be my spark. Sabi niya, or walking. I'm really good at walking. In response, di ba sabi ni Joe, nung nasa Earth na sila, na parang, ha? Walking is your spark? Hindi talaga. So parang, di ba, I mean, 22 was able to realize her spark there na hindi ito passion lang eh. Parang ito yung kabuuan eh ng pagkabuhay mo. And that's the reason also that I was able to define or say that a spark to me is basically a sense of wonder, a sense of spectacle in life. Kasi minsan pag naglalakad ka or bumabiyahe ka, 'di ba? Parang napaka-mundane, napaka-common na yung pagbabiyahe, pagsakay ng bus, pagko-commute, parang
Yeah.
napapagod ka na. But if you have a sense of wonder, say may taong nag-uusap doon and natutuwa ka nag-uusap sila. Or let's say may couple doon na parang okay, natutuwa ka sa dalawa kasi parang yung gestures nila, alam mo yun, yung paghahawi ng buhok ni girlfriend kay boyfriend, yung mga ganong mga malilit na mga bagay na appreciate mo. That's a sense of wonder and spectacle also. And to me,
Mm.
that's my spark eh. Kasi right now, tama yung sabi ni Mikey eh, pag nagkakaedad na tayo, nag-iiba na yung spark natin eh, 'di ba? Pag bata-bata pa tayo, andun pa yung excitement, yung energy na, hala, gawin natin lahat 'to. Pag nagkakaedad ka na, nag-iiba na rin yung priorities and spark mo. Pero for me, like in essence, ako, I would like to stick to my spark na anything can be a spark as long as it gives me a sense of wonder and spectacle.
Mm.
Diba na parang kung kakain lang, kunwari, pupunta ka ng 7-Eleven, di ba? Lahat doon mga produkto lang yan na pwede mong kainin, pwede mong inumin. But kung magtataka ka na parang, huy, bakit bago tong product na to galing Thailand? Sige, bilhin ko nga. Yung mga ganong maliliit na bagay, it excites you. Thailand talaga.
Oo.
yung mga,
Napaka-specific.
Oo. Yung mga ganong bagay. And then, although I'd like to share this, there are times na yung spark na yun, minsan hindi na kikita or naiintindihan ng mga tao. Kunwari, bibili ako ng isang juice or isang drink na nakita ko lang sa 7-Eleven. And I'd be like, "Huy, natuwa ako sa drink na 'to," whatever, and then explain ako, "Masarap 'to." And then I would explain about the drink, so on and so forth, ganyan, ganyan. Meron siyang ginseng, kineme, ganyan, and I'm so amazed na ganito ang, ingredients niya, ganyan. And people would be like, "Oh, okay." Alam mo 'yun, parang gano'n, na parang, "Hala, bakit gano'n?" Minsan na we're dragged down to that level na we're just living a mundane life. But to me kasi, a spark is about finding the spectacles in life, and that's what excites me. And that's my spark, I think, at least for now. Sure.
Mhm, mhm. True.
Yes.
Para siyang trigger
Cool.
in a way, no? Triggers you to
Mm.
start
Correct.
start a hobby or start something new in your life or buy those shoes or alam mo yun,
True.
yung
True.
just pursue something that you just came across. So parang trigger siya in a way.
Mm-mm.
It ignites something
Yeah.
new.
True. But I have a question though. Where does this come from? Kasi we're talking about a spark that's, I mean, we're assuming that it's there already, di ba? Na
Mm.
parang lumalabas na lang siya.
Mm.
Pero since when you made mention of trigger, ano nga ba nagda-trigger ng spark? Dumarating na lang ba yung spark na yan? Do we make the choice of creating that spark, or does it just come to you?
How about you, Mike?
I think it's just something that you discover. Kasi, di ba, parang, even in the movie, parang,
Yeah.
it's not something that you create, parang it's just something that happens. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what will trigger it. That's why parang there's that process of discovering what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi yun
Yeah.
nga parang your spark is not the same as other people's sparks, di ba?
That's true.
Right.
And parang there's a multitude of combinations or permutations,
Na,
combinations, permutations, di ba, on
uh,
what that spark could be. Eh. So,
yeah.
and that's why we also say na parang not everyone is born to be a certain I mean, not for example, um, a place wherein hindi nakacater yung ano mo, yung nurturing ng spark mo, parang hindi ka masaya kasi yun nga eh, parang
Mm-hmm.
something that happens when it happens for a lot of people. And I think this was mentioned in the movie as well, diba? Parang there was a line there wherein this is not the place where souls are. Parang, can you hear me, guys? Oh my god, am I
Ano,
hanging?
isa
Hello.
pa,
Oh my
it's
god, I
not
think
the
I'm
Go,
place
hanging.
where,
go,
sorry,
go,
I
Mikey.
missed that last one. This is not the place.
Ayun. Parang ano, parang ay, you, this is not the place where you crush souls. That's what
Oh,
life
yeah.
on Earth is for. Parang something like that. But then again, parang yun nga.
Yeah.
Eh. Parang, actually, we are all in the process of self-discovery, di ba? And I think for a
Yeah.
lot of us, we're still finding our spark. And that's why you have a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
saying, parang, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Parang, I don't know what I want. You know, those types of things. Kasi yun nga eh, maybe they haven't encountered that specific number of combinations and permutations or whatnot that will
Yeah.
enable them to, you know, parang discover or give life or to get that spark, di ba?
Yeah.
So, yun eh, parang, I mean, I for one, I know that I like my current job, di ba? Parang I know that
Yeah.
that it's something that I will continue to do so if given, you know, the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of yung parang the thing that makes you feel alive and you know parang gives
Mm-hmm.
you that high of highs,
Yeah.
parang I wouldn't necessarily say it's a profession eh. Parang it's more on, tama nga sabi ni Nico eh, it's more on the experiences. Like for example, when you discover a new flavor, di ba? Parang yung, so for example, I like traveling, di ba? So when I
Yeah.
discover a new destination or parang, not necessarily a destination, but for example, like a new smell or a new
Mm,
taste, or parang something that fills my heart with joy when I see it, di ba?
yeah.
Parang I think that's what it is, eh. Pero
Yes.
in terms of making that into sort of like, kaya nga, I think the movie said, it's not your purpose, eh. Kasi parang, hindi ko
Mm,
naman purpose na lagi maramdaman yung spark.
true.
Or hindi ko naman purpose na, I don't know, like, to, I can't even put it into words. Pero yun nga eh. Parang, I think it's something that you discover and it's something that just happens
Right.
when it happens. So yun. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes
it
sense.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, it
Mm.
makes me basing on. I completely agree with what you're saying, Mike. And also coming from the movie, one thing that I captured from the movie Soul is you can't impose a spark on someone, or
Mm,
it cannot be
Yes.
dictated by someone. Hey, do this because
Right.
it might give you joy, or it might spark joy or interest in you. But it's really up to the person to experience and
mm,
expose self or herself to the world, because I think it'll be much easier to find your spark if you're able to really take it in, your environment,
mhm,
try to experience life, the things around you, you
mhm,
perceive things, right? And if you are open to that, then there's a higher possibility that you find something that
mhm.
will inspire you, right, to do something, as opposed to simply, of course,
Mm.
you may or may not find spark when you're at home. It depends on the kind of exposure that you're actually initiating, di ba? If lagi ka lang natutulog, baka mahirap yon. But even if you're at
True,
home, there are
true.
so many ways, like you can read, can watch
Yeah.
films, diba? You can discover, rediscover, sometimes nga, dito sa bahay, like yung, nag-ano lang ako, nagpamarikondo, marikondo.
Yeah.
um, tawag
Maricondo.
dito, oo,
Does
ano
it give
ako,
you joy?
nagpa-personal training,
Yeah.
right?
So,
Yeah,
spark
it
joy.
sparks joy.
Oo.
Exactly. Actually, I think that's the whole concept of it. You
Yeah.
you you come across some of your old stuff. Diba? I came across my old poetry, the things that I used to write, the songs that I wrote that I
Ah,
didn't finish, and parang it kind of resurrected whatever spark I had then, and
Yeah.
parang diba? Or it can probably be a different kind of spark now, 15
Right.
years later, 20 years later. And the point is really for people to be open to experience in
Right.
general, and really expose yourself to um, all the possibilities in life, as opposed to
Yeah.
just close, right? So, ayun, that's my take on it, really. For
Wait,
those who
I
are,
think,
saan ko ba makakita yan? It's really nowhere specific
yeah.
because it's supposed to trigger something in you, right?
Right, right, right. I like I like what you both of you are saying. No, that I think we just have to be open to these experiences and live these experiences for you to really know. I mean, it's not really like, to me ha, hindi siya scheduled eh. Di ba tama sabi ni Mikey,
Yeah,
you can't really
right.
just say na it's a process. It takes time. You just have to sit there and be open. Kasi ito na lang, let's differentiate siguro between one person who's really open to traveling, Maladora the Explorer ang dating ni Ateng, 'di ba? May mga ganun tao na very, ano ba to, parang open to all these experiences, right? Magta-try pa yan na, how do you call this? Mga extreme sports, ganyan. 'Di ba? Ganun yun eh, 'di ba? May isa namang tao na very calculated yung buhay, 'di ba? Kasi nga, well, given the circumstances, given the availability of resources and everything, given yung circumstances niya sa buhay, 'di ba? Andun siya, right? Nakakahon lang, okay? Because probably siguro confined siya dun sa societal expectations na kailangan maging ganito ka, you have to provide for this, for that, so on and so forth, right? But sometimes dun sa confinement na yon in society, we actually miss the opportunity in really figuring out and finding out our sparks, diba? Ganun. So, I think for me, yun nga eh, parang regardless of the circumstance, it's quite a risk actually, to find your spark and be open, because it's not easy to just be open to
Yeah.
experiences, right? Parang like kunwari nahihirapan ka sa buhay, 'di ba? And then you need to fend for your family, provide for your family. So
Yeah,
parang
your priorities. Yeah.
right, no? I mean, do you have the opportunity to find your spark? Ganun ba, 'di ba? So medyo malawak talaga siya na ano no, na konsepto, bale. No, it's again, tama yung sabi niyo parang ni Mikey, that it's a lived experience eh. Parang you cannot just impose, like just what you said, Gwenino. Yeah, you can't just impose anything to someone, hey, this should be your spark. Kasi tao yan eh. Tao ang magde-define yan. But this is a good thought also from Lance. I think Lance is still watching right now, no? The origins
Yeah.
of the spark is a battle daw between existentialism and determinism. So it depends on what you believe in. So I think ito yung sabi ko kanina, Gwen, dun sa animation kasi, di ba may concept of predestination, right? Na parang in heaven, gawa na yung personality, and then bababa dito,
Yeah.
and then, di
Yeah.
ba,
Yeah.
nakakatawa yung ano, no? Para, ako kasi parang, I'm sorry, parang I'm very pragmatic, and I am an existentialist. Like I believe that people have free will and freedom here, and we create our lived experiences nasa mundo talaga. Other people believe that everything is predestined. Like everything has been set, even your personality. Nakakatawa lang dun sa animation kasi 'di ba, yung Jerry,
Yeah.
yung mga little souls, ina-assign niya like, oh, you have to be
You're
Snoopy. You
gonna
have
be you're gonna be a little rude or something.
Yo, 'di ba? Parang okay.
You're full of
Oo, ano
yourself.
ba? Oh, you're full of yourself, di ba? Nakakatawa yun. But siguro ako, on a personal level, tama si Lance, I guess, kasi it depends on how you look at, it depends on your worldview. If you believe that everything is predestined, then that's where you lead yourself to find your spark. Kung ikaw naman ay existentialist, experienced kind of person, di ba? So, ikaw naman,
Yeah, yeah,
pupunta ka dun sa concrete experience and lived experiences mo. Ikaw ba, Gwenny?
yeah.
Are you more of a predestined kind of person, or you do you believe in existentialism, that everything
Oh
is
my God.
lived here?
Honestly,
Yes.
I don't want to go so much down that
Yeah, yeah,
road
yeah.
because, oh my God, that's a whole, ako pa naman, nati-trigger,
I
nasa-spark ako sa
know, I know.
conversation. But to answer your question very briefly, I'm half and half
Yeah.
really. I think that's one of
Mm-hmm.
the parang mini thesis ko yun nung college in psychology wherein
Oh.
we were asked to create our own theory of personality. And for me, in a way, I believe that there's a part of the human being that's already made, diba? And there's a
Mm-hmm.
part that you create in your life talaga as you go along.
Right.
So, in a way, how I approach naman spark, kasi parang yung akin, one is passive, one is active eh. So it's the creating of yourself part is what dictates, 'di ba? Na parang
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
meron kang meron kang tendencies, right?
Right.
For me, I believe in a person is born with tendencies, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And things that you're predestined to, 'di ba? Parang not necessarily predestined to do, but you have your meron ka ng genetic design, how you're designed genetically.
Mm.
At the same time, parang malaki yung responsibility for me dun sa aspect ng person to take action and to
Yeah.
make sense of that. It's like Lego, di ba? If you
Right.
put it
Right.
into a simple concept. Yung
Okay.
Lego, kung square ka talaga. Kung
Uh-huh.
bilog ka talaga. Right?
Yeah.
But you can't just make that be your basis for everything that you
Mm.
or you cannot be, diba? It's not supposed to define your possibilities and limitations because
Yun. Oh,
you
okay.
are the one who can look for what you can become as a it
Right.
can be a piece of a house, a piece
Right.
of a car ng Lego, diba? So
Yeah.
that's how I take it really. Now in terms of finding the spark, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like person really has the power to do that. Na
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
although tama ka eh, yung isa kong thought kanina was, in a way, when we think about sparks, it's like a chicken and egg situation na
Mm-hmm.
um, parang mapapaisip ka eh na, paano kung wala akong spark para maghanap ng spark?
Yes.
Alam mo yun, parang
Yes.
dahil, in respect to people who are going through a lot right now, especially in this pandemic. Those are
Yeah.
undergoing depression, those who are really feeling lost and can't find their balance, diba? And that's
Yeah.
really a valid that's a valid situation and condition, and parang we're not saying that it's easy, right? Or why can't you? But it's more like, syempre, there are times na you get to question. So, what if talagang wala akong gana? Wala akong gana sa bumangon everyday. Pagka sa
Totoo,
first
totoo.
na lang kape. Walang,
Yeah.
wala akong reason para bumangon because, I'm so down. Parang wala akong gana sa life. Parang I'm
Right.
just, I'm so lost right now. I lost my job and I don't know what to do. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of problems and diba, and here and there, left and right. But then, so parang, how do you now attract diba, the possibility of getting that spark,
Exactly.
or is it more like you're supposed to get that spark to help you get back your balance? So parang
Yeah.
in a way, what should
Grabe,
come
no?
first, diba? Yeah, diba? So mapapaisip yung tao. So I don't know. I don't have all the answers, obviously, but
Mhm,
personally, I
mhm,
would really
mhm.
say that um, it it helps if you kind of find the time to reflect, to sit down
Yeah.
and reflect and
Take
look
time.
for avenues. Yeah, look for avenues, diba? Yung
Yeah.
simple things around you that you can actually explore. Like, for me, even if you're at home, like, try ko nga magluto. Try ko matuto magluto or
Ayan.
something. Or maybe,
Right.
you don't even have to do it. You can just watch someone doing it. Or you can, diba? But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that
True.
it might help if you try to sit down and reflect and look for those little avenues or little
Yes.
opportunities, directly within your circle, within your direct environment, na pwede mo
Mhm.
ma-explore.
Yeah.
And malay mo, little by little, you find that spark. It doesn't have to be a big change agad,
You
di
have
ba? Na
to.
parang, oh my
Right.
God, itong spark na to made me a millionaire or, made me a CEO. I don't think it's, di ba? We
No,
don't
no,
really
no.
have to look at it that way. But it can be
Mhm.
the little achievements that you have, yung mga baby steps
Mm.
mo, and little sparks that can ignite you and make you achieve those small accomplishments, di ba? That can turn
Right.
into, di ba, kung i-put together mo, dadami din naman yun. And that creates your life. And when you
True.
look back on it, that's gonna be a very beautiful portfolio, di ba?
You know, yes.
Di
Gusto
ba?
ko yan.
Portfolio for me.
Portfolio for me, yes.
Yes.
'Di ba? Pang go see. Char.
Dami sinabi, no? Pero parang,
But it
naisip
makes
ko siya
sense.
for me. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Pero ayun nga, parang well, medyo far-fetched na 'to na thought, no? Parang pero yun nga, you just have to be open to these experiences for you to really find your spark eh. Parang despite the limitations,
Mm-mm.
you just have to find time to really reflect and contemplate eh. Na parang ano nga ba talaga? Don't keep distracting yourself from really doing the mundane, the
Yeah.
expected, alam mo yung ganun. But I think I think Mikey did implicitly say this a while ago. You just have to be free out there and experience, and be open and not be scared of going out there. Because siguro the reason people are not able to find their sparks is siguro they're just confined in the expectations na expected ako to
Mm-hmm.
do these things, so on and so forth. But example na lang ha, like you, both of you love to travel, right?
Mm.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Like, bigla na lang kayo nung pupunta lang, Boracay, Cebu, hala, andun sila. I swear. Gulat ako
Diba?
one time si
Mm.
Gwenny, di ba? Parang, asan si Gwen nung isang linggo? This was like years back. Then,
Mm-mm.
sabi ng boss natin, ay, nasa Cebu. Cebu, really? As in, andun lang siya like for 2 days. A couple of days, and then balik ka siya. Okay.
Oh,
Yung
right.
gano'n.
Okay.
And speaking of
Okay.
boss, hello sparklers, sabi ni Sir
Ayan.
Francis Licarte.
Ang
Hi,
pinakamabait
Sir
na boss
Ali.
Oh, hi.
natin.
Hey.
Yes.
Intro natin kay Sir. Sir Ann.
Gusto ko yan.
Pero I like, siguro what really resonated dun sa video natin kanina, just before we talk about our individual sparks, no? Maganda
Mm-mm.
yung nag-resonate sa akin yung sinabi ni Gwenny na parang it's the fire that starts, that makes you do anything. And then, nag-resonate talaga yung sinabi ni
Mm.
Mikey sa akin. Parang hindi ko na inulit kasi sinabi na niya eh.
Ay, sorry.
It creativity, passion, and what was the last thing that you said, Mikey?
Inspiration.
Inspiration, exactly. And that's what I really specifically concretely feel about spark. Pero binago lang ko na lang talaga siya para maiba lang. Char lang. Pero yes. Yun, to me kasi parang it's something that you do eh. Parang it's an outward
Oo.
thing. Diba? It starts
Yeah.
within. But for you to be creative, you feel that you are, making your spark really concrete. No? So with that,
Mhm.
ano ba yung mga sparks natin? I mean, what
Well,
is your spark? Yeah,
I
Eki, go.
actually have something to add, or
Yeah, go, go.
to because I was listening as well in the background
Right,
while I
right.
was trying to get back in.
Mm-hmm.
Kainis talaga.
Welcome
Globe,
back.
baka naman.
Okay naman. Sure.
Ayun, parang, so you
2021
guys,
na.
Oo.
correct, 2021 na. Kamusta naman, guys? So, I heard Gwen mention, ayan, nawala na tuloy ako. But basically, it got me thinking around this concept na parang, yes, you have to be living. Ayan, you have to be living it. You have to be out there. And parang, to me, it's not something that's constant, that spark.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
the reason why I say that is because, diba, parang it's something that can, ayun, she was saying na parang, you won't experience that spark if you're just at home, if you're just confined, diba? So
Mm-hmm.
parang, and that's very true eh. Kasi parang, um, because you are a creature that is supposed to be out there in the world experiencing things. Now, if we go back
Right.
to the movie, diba, one of the reasons why 22 got her spark, and sorry na lang kung spoiler to para sa inyo, is, well, when she was sitting on the floor, she was sitting on a pavement, and then she was looking at all the scenes. She was
Yeah, ganda
finally
yun.
seeing things with open eyes, and she was seeing things for the first time.
Yes.
And she was finally able to actually feel what it was like to, let's say, feel the sun on your face, to feel
Yes.
the wind, parang blowing, diba, on your skin, and then
Butterflies.
parang the butterflies, and also parang, leaves falling and all of that. So parang
Yeah.
um, that is something that can actually inspire, diba, or create
Mm,
that spark in someone. Now,
yeah.
if you are just in a confined space, for example, I mean, you can only get when you are indoors, diba?
True.
So parang you might be able to get some spark,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that in terms of the variety of sparks that you can get is limited
Yeah.
as well.
True,
Diba?
true.
Kasi parang you are basically within your four walls, and if your only, let's say, connection to the outside world is a screen, that's still very limited as well. Kasi iba rin naman
Yeah.
yung parang nakikita mo yung waterfall versus you actually feel the wind from the rushing, diba? Rushing, or parang the falling water, and all those things. Diba?
Yeah.
Parang, so, tama eh, parang kailangan ma-experience siya. And also, the reason why I say that it's not constant is because we see people who go through life
Mm-hmm.
um, not having that sparkle in their eye. Sparkle in their eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Di
yeah,
ba?
yeah.
Kasi parang for them, it's become very mundane. It's become very routinary. It's all
True.
become very, alam mo yan, like burdensome. Because
Yeah.
now living is a chore. Diba? It's not something that you feel joy doing anymore. Eh. Parang
Yeah.
day in and day out, parang, especially, kaya nga, diba, parang we talk about engagement at work, for example, diba?
Yeah.
Or we talk about, parang not losing that thing that makes you happy, diba? Kasi parang
Yeah.
it can disappear. So parang for us, parang maybe yun nga eh, parang the reason why we lose that spark is we forget to just live, and we focus on the next day or the next 10
Mm,
years, or
yeah.
di ba kasi
Na nagiging
at the end,
robotic na tayo.
correct, di ba? Parang kasi that's what happened in the movie eh. Which is why parang nag-resonate sa akin yung quote ni, I forgot the name of the saxophone player, but she said na parang, so a fish was asked,
Yeah.
"What is your dream?" Diba? Parang,
True,
I
true.
want to go to the ocean.
The
Okay, pero
ocean.
parang you're you're already in the ocean. Diba? So you're a fish. Diba? So parang why are you looking for something more when there's already you're already in it. Alam mo 'yon? Parang change your lens.
Yeah.
Parang why are you trying to go for something parang far off in the future when right now you already have so many things that you can be grateful for, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So anyway, parang that I mean,
You don't have to look far. Parang
you
ganun.
don't have to look far. Exactly, di ba? Parang it's around you. I mean, it's right in front of your face sometimes. You just don't appreciate it because you can't see it for what it is because you're looking farther or you're looking
True.
beyond what is already
Yes.
there, di ba? So, and also, di ba, parang yung lost souls, the reason why they're lost
Mm.
souls because they've lost that spark, eh.
Mm-mm.
Parang they've focused on just one thing so much that parang they become oblivious to everything else. So nawawala yung joy kasi either they're focusing on something that they don't have or they're focusing on something that's not there or within their grasp yet. So, ano
Yeah.
yan? So, tama, di ba? Parang for us to basically still get that spark, we have to live, and it's something that is very difficult to do. But I guess we just have to, I don't know, try. Ang dami ko nasabi. Yun.
Yeah. Tama naman. And I think, no, if you were to make it a little bit more sorry, were you gonna, konti na lang, Nico. So,
Go,
I
go.
mean, if we're
Mm.
gonna make it a little bit more grounded, siguro, ay, ako nauunawaan ko eh, kasi I know a lot of people, um, who are, who simply can't find the time, na parang, you
Yeah.
have so many priorities, um,
Right.
sa buhay na, ultimo, oras para sa sarili mo, wala ka na eh. Kasi, parang if lalo na if you have so many roles to play in your life, like you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a, you're what do you call this, nagtuturo ka pa ng homeschooling sa kids mo, and
Mm-hmm.
you need to do
Mm-hmm.
the chores and you need to pay the bills and you're also working or something, and or maybe
Mm-mm.
you're taking care of someone at home and that already takes a lot of your time and you're working at the same time, and parang
Right.
kailan ko pa gagawin yung paghanap ng work? And
Mm.
parang I feel for these people, but in a way, dito napapasok sa chicken and egg eh, na parang, okay, so are you gonna give yourself time to do that, or are you gonna wait for yourself to have the time so that you can actually look for
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Parang
Yeah.
hirap eh, but parang dito napapasok din yung for me, it's really important for a person to kind of look for the time for yourself to sit down and think and make
Yeah.
spaces for yourself eh. So parang in a way kung sa lamesa, diba? Kung sinasabi ni Marie Kondo na keep those things that spark joy and just throw
Yes.
those things that don't, right? Or dispose of
Mm-hmm.
them or donate them or give them away or something. But if your table has a lot of clutter, you won't have that space to put that item that sparks joy in
True.
you. So
True.
you're gonna have to
Yeah.
make some space, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
in your calendar, it's in your life, it's in your time, schedule mo, you're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to make these adjustments and make those spaces kasi it might make a whole lot of difference in the quality of your living. Sabi nga
Yeah.
nila eh, di ba? You may be alive, but you're not necessarily living. So it's really in the
Sure.
Right.
quality of your life, di ba? And
Right.
um, the spark is meant to actually help us
Yeah.
have a better quality. Pero yun nga,
Right.
we're not saying naman na like what Mikey said, you don't really have to look far. It's not really about, pag sinabing spark, it's not na i-uproot mo talaga yung sarili mo from your everyday life and what you're doing or where
Right.
you are and your, di
Ipakamangha
ba?
ka, no?
Oo, it's not that eh. Kaya I think people feel that
Naging
it's
Buddhist ka
it's
bigla.
too difficult. Parang ang hirap niyang gawin or ang hirap niyang i-achieve or ako, wag na, no, hindi na ako mangangarap gawin yan. Because I think
Right.
the
Right.
interpretation is that it has to be a miracle for it to happen to you, but it actually
Mm.
Mhm.
isn't. It's in the little things
Right.
within
Right.
your midst, di ba? Na you can actually look at and makikita mo lang yun if you actually look. And when you do
True.
something, yung may presence ka sa ginagawa mo, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So
Mm-mm.
you're not just like you say, yung robotic. It's like doing something na wala dun yung, you're not
Mm,
present in what you're doing. And I
yeah.
think to be able to find sparks in those little things that you're doing every day is to be fully present there, to put your
Mm-hmm,
heart and
mm-hmm.
soul to participate in what you're doing. And maybe even when you're doing your everyday chores, you may be able to find those sparks. Kasi you're
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
living it, you're feeling it, you're in the moment, and you're
True.
not thinking of something else while doing this. Yeah,
Right.
so
Right.
maybe that's something that takes a little bit of self adjustment, self management,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, time management at the same time, and maybe it might be
Mhm.
worth that effort when you actually do find your spark, and it makes a whole lot of difference, and you don't
Yeah.
need to sacrifice something, not as much, di ba na,
Yeah.
uy, kaya naman pala eh, di ba? So,
Right. Right.
yun, that's for me.
Gwenny, I think
Yeah.
along the lines of Marie Kondo and her philosophy in having sparks of joy in your life chart through organization or whatnot. Ako siguro just to add to what you said, I think the reason people have a hard time looking for their spark is they're so distracted by other people's sparks. I hope
Yes,
that
yes,
Very
makes sense.
true.
Diba? Diba? Parang, kunwari,
Mhm. Yeah.
alam mo namang mahilig ka sa music, but then again, you see people doing different things, and you're like, oh, sige, gawin ko na nga to. You're in there. So you end up like drowned in these different sparks, and you end up like losing yourself. And sabi nga ni Mikey, you become the, ano to? The dead, lost soul
Lost
rather. Diba?
soul.
Diba? So ako
Yeah.
siguro, like along those lines, Winnie, for you to have to be present in the moment and for you to be able to find your specific spark, you have to clear out everything, Marie Kondo everything, your life, and kumbaga tanggalin mo yung distraction na yan, kahit magtabula rasa ka dyan,
Mhm.
zero ka,
Actually,
okay lang. You start there eh. Diba ganun eh. Diba? Yun.
yeah. Parang tama, di ba? Parang it's very important to, I mean, parang not compare. Kasi, di ba,
Yeah,
parang when you compare, there's always something that's better or
right.
bigger, better, bolder, stronger. Char. Um,
Yes!
'Di ba? Kasi 'di ba? Kasi yun nga eh, parang Joe wasn't happy kasi he thought na parang things would miraculously change when he
Yeah.
got that gig, 'di ba? Na parang
Yep, yep.
parang the world would open up, etc. and so forth, 'di ba? So parang he was sort of like comparing that spark to maybe someone else's
Yeah.
spark, like you guys
Yep.
mentioned, di ba? Parang someone who is world renowned or someone who is ano,
Right.
parang packing theaters or whatever, di ba?
Yes.
And even in the mundane, not in the mundane, in the ordinary things, like for
Yep.
example, a lot of people say parang they're chasing this dream, parang kailangan ano, makapunta ko sa 10 destinations around the world kasi yun yung sinasabi ng ano ng world map ko. Alam mo yun, para may
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ganere ako, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Parang I mean, it's nice to chase that dream, but then
Yeah.
again, if it prevents you from enjoying, let's say, going to the nearest beach, then
Right. Right.
alam mo yun, parang
yeah, yeah, exactly.
that parang it mars the experience, 'di ba? Parang
Right.
then you're not really enjoying it. You're not being in that moment. Kasi parang
Yes.
you're thinking na parang ay nako, imbes na mag-enjoy ka parang ay nako, we could have been in Bali right now. Mga ganun parang
Right.
Kaya nga diba
Right.
sabi nila,
okay.
hindi daw maganda mag-multitask. Because you're not enjoying every single thing that you're doing.
True.
Exactly,
You're
'di
not
ba?
in the
True.
moment.
Mm-mm.
Exactly, 'di ba? So parang when you're there, be there,
In
enjoy what
there.
it is. And if you didn't want to go in the first place, then you shouldn't have
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
gone. You shouldn't have gone.
True.
Ano ba yung
Yeah.
True.
grammar
True.
ko? Oh my God. Um, 'Di ba? So parang, and I think that's what ano eh, but that's what the line was talaga eh. Parang nung tinanong si Jodio, parang so what are you gonna do now? Parang siya naman, parang he wasn't thinking about the future. He wasn't thinking really about parang chasing that ocean or whatever. Parang I think his
Yeah.
line was parang, oh, I don't know, but I'm just gonna live every minute of it. And that's basically what
No.
it is, diba? Parang we just have to live
Beautiful.
every minute of it. Eh. Kasi
No.
if we are living in the future, then of course the future doesn't compare to the present because your
Yeah.
present is this, diba? So
Yeah.
parang I think it also relates to a quote that people say na parang don't compare your chapter 1 to other people's chapter 10. Kasi maybe they did more. Maybe they started earlier or maybe they just
Yeah.
have more connections. They have more
Yeah. Yeah.
resources, diba? So parang you're not living your moment. You are
Yeah.
trying to live other people's moments. Alam mo yun?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Kaya
it's
parang
very
yung
important to
pag
ground
nag-iisip ka ng course
ourselves.
sa college, di ba? Ito na lang kunin mo yung kinuhang course ng dad
Yeah.
mo or something, right? But
True, true.
it's not really you,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right?
that's
It's
the thing, di
actually
ba?
your own, your
Correct
experiences,
eh.
interests,
It's an
your journey.
imposition of a spark on someone who might not be cut out or might not be the right
Mm-hmm.
receptacle for that spark. Alam mo yan?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
parang it won't fit because it's not what
Right.
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
That's
Yeah.
Pero may
iba-ibang iba-iba talagang spark. And I think
yeah.
that's something that we can actually find out, no, as we
Yes.
proceed
Yes.
in
Yes.
this
Pero,
conversation.
last
The
No
spark,
promises,
how,
no. No
how is it,
promises.
how do other people take it pala? Yung
yes.
spark.
Yes. True, true, true. Wait, pero last thought na lang to. To Mikey's thought, no? Ito, dugtong-dugtungan talaga tayo dito, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hindi tayo matapos-tapos kasi magaganda yung mga sinasabi ng bawat isa. Like, Mikey said kasi kanina na parang, it saddened me, Mikey, when you said na there are people who just, for the lack of term, yung ano na lang, parang mairaos na lang yung buhay. Yung ganon. Yung parang,
Yes, yes.
everyday, alam mo yun, it saddens me because tayo parang at least napanood natin yung ano yun, 'di ba? Yung animation and we're here to like explore our sparks definitely. Kumbaga, it triggered us to think. Pero for those na ganun yung thought process and then everyday mairaos na lang, nalulungkot ako. Pero it could be a factor of yes, tama yung sabi natin na parang nadidistract lang siguro tayo na parang imbis na kunwari magsulat ka, iniisip mo na parang ay may mas magaling naman sa akin, ayoko na nga lang magsulat, wag na nga lang.
Correct.
Iraos ko na lang tong buhay ko. Baka ganun, no? So, nalulungkot ako for them, really. But, I think this conversation that we have tonight is really to spark or start a conversation about their own sparks, no? And we're here to really be there with them in that conversation. Ayan.
May question nga pala ako.
Oh,
Sa tingin mo, si Nicholas, nahanap niya na yung spark?
Actually, madami. Kasi spark.
nakakainis.
Mukhang marami siya
Marami
eh.
na siya.
Marami siya.
Oo.
Pero,
Marami
pero
na libro dahil sa...
Uy, pero it could be na grammatical lang siya. Nicholas Sparks.
Pwede rin.
So, isa lang din yung spark niya. Char lang.
Singular siya.
Oo. Ang seryoso mo doon. Nakikinig talaga ako sa'yo.
Ako din. Kaya ko
Yes. Uy, ito na lang. Before we parang extend our conversation, ang next question siguro natin is what is your spark? Siguro before we share our individual respective sparks, no, we can actually share a video. We actually talked to some of our friends and then we sort of like got their responses and answers, no. And tignan natin kung it's not really a matter of like matching and making whatever we have with them, but we'll try to understand like a holistic understanding of what a spark is, no. So let's play the video. Ito na ba yun? Yeah.
May napapasaya ka ng mga tao. Like, not just your family, but also your colleagues, your friends. Parang yung ganitong simple gathering, di ba? Parang I find happiness when I see people smiling. So, yung spark for me that keeps me going. I want to see people smile and I want to see people happy.
Pero if the question is, where do I get the spark? It's really my parents and the people I love. Eric, the people I love. Kasi parang feeling ko kahit saan mo ko ilagay, magagawa ko naman. Pero hindi ko magagawa as passionate and as excellent pagka hindi ko sila naiisip. Parang pagka pagod na ako, parang shit, ayoko na. Pero may isip ko yung parents ko, may isip ko si Eric, may isip ko yung mga taong mahal ko. Parang gusto kong gawin ulit. Gusto kong ilaban pa. Parang
Ako kasi last year, I had a lot of realizations. For me, 2020 was a defining year, not just for one human being, but for everyone. Because it made everyone realize what matters the most. One day, things could be taken out from you. That made me think na whatever I want to do or whatever I can do, yung kaya kong gawin ngayon, gagawin ko siya. Second realization is what matters the most are those people na nagstay with you through the challenges in life. Doesn't matter whether you have 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 friends, you will always see those people na maybe a few, 10, one person, 2, 3, 5 person na magsistay sa iyo. That's what makes me inspired.
I know the feeling na kapag wala ka, alam mo yun, yung parang wala ka ng choice eh. Hindi naman pwedeng every time na wala ka, lalapit ka, mangihingi ka. So might as well, if you can help. Simple thing, share lang naman eh. Sa Swandoza namin din. Parang dun ko lang din na-realize na, okay, may mga friends pala ako na hindi sila nag-react, hindi sila nagpapaservice, pero may nag-PM sa akin na, hi Zaba, friend ako ni ganito, nag-fog daw kayo, taga Paranaque lang ako, taga Las Piñas lang ako. So parang, okay, diba? Parang hindi mo naman kailangan maging loud and proud na, uy, tinulungan ko si ganito, uy, tinulungan ko si ganyan. Pero parang yung sa mga referrals nila na ganyan, nakikita ko na, okay, may mga friends pala ako dito around na hindi ko alam. Silently, tumutulong sila sa akin kasi, si Zaba ganito, may business na ganito. Yun yung kailangan mong matutunan. You have to adjust or parang gawin mo yung best mo.
Yun. O, di ba may mga pa-documentary tayong ganyan?
Level up na talaga eh.
Oo. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, iba-iba talaga ang nagsaspark
Yes.
ng inspiration or joy and creativity in people. It's really up to you eh kung, diba, kung saan ka titingin at paano mo titignan
Yeah.
ang nasa harap. So, yeah, where you get those sparks from, you can't see them if you don't look. I think it can be as simple as that.
Yeah. Pero ano no, I think pero like every person, like napansin ko sa mga sagot ng mga friends natin, no, I think it's very internal and intrinsic. Eh. Parang it's not something that you do like extrinsically or externally na concrete na material, 'di ba? Kasi pamilya, relationship, 'di ba? Realization, yan, no? Parang the act of helping, malasakit itself is a spark helping. It's not even the act of it's not even something that they get in exchange out of helping, 'di ba? It's actually the act of helping that spark people. To some hindi naintindihan 'yun, but to others it's what really keeps them going, 'di ba? So, you know, mahirap siyang i-define it to other people, to different people, it's really different. Yeah.
And I think Java, she got me thinking about what we can do and what Joe does
Yeah.
in the movie. Diba? Parang Joe is a teacher, so he is able to basically also ignite sparks in other people. Like for example, that girl, diba, who apparently likes playing the trombone pala, diba? Mga ganun bagay. And I think in our own little ways, we are also able to create those sparks in other people, di ba? Like for example, yung nga, mention ni Java na parang pag nag-post siya sa social media niya, then parang other people react to it. The mere fact that other people react to it, that means that it ignited some kind of spark in them, di ba? Either they liked what you posted or parang they thought about something when you posted that. So it's very annoying. It's very I don't know how would I say it, experiential, or it's very possible as well that we can help each other in terms of igniting sparks in each other, diba? Like for example, this channel, diba? Parang it was just a conversation, and because of that conversation, boom, eto na tayo ngayon, diba? And also the same with our BBS, diba? So parang it takes sometimes it takes other people for you to be able to realize or to, let's say, get a I'm still looking for that word eh. I'm looking for hindi genome talaga eh.
Genome talaga sasabihin ko
a germ of an idea. I think that's the idiom.
Okay.
I think that's the idiom, a germ of an idea, and then make it bigger and bring it to life, diba? So I think ano
Yeah.
parang especially for our case, 'di ba? Parang we are basically educators ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Yeah.
example, like in your kwento Nico, 'di ba? Like when you have people messaging you, for example, na parang hey Nico, you were the best trainer I had because of you. I
Mm-hmm.
was able to do this, etc. and so forth, 'di ba? So parang lahat tayo may kakayanan at kakayahan
Yeah.
to create sparks in other people. And I think that's also
Right.
part of ano that's also part of living eh. 'Di ba? Na
Mm-hmm.
parang kasi parang it is I wouldn't say selfish, but I guess it's just sometimes neglect. Now we forget that we have an impact on others and that we may cause them to gain a spark, but we might also cause them to lose their spark.
That's
Alam mo
true.
yun?
That's true.
Right. True. True.
So
True.
that's why it's very important for us to live in our moment, but in living, we also have to be considerate of others, diba?
Yeah.
And because I just said that, it brings to mind as well a scene in the movie wherein 22 as Joe, when she was in the barber's chair, she started asking
Mm-hmm.
about, started asking the barber about, hey, it's that, why did you start cutting hair? Was it, did you always want to be a hair barber, etc. and so forth. Diba? And then they realize and they find out that parang, no, he didn't always want to be it. But yung sinabi mo rin, Gwen, diba? Because of certain circumstances, they were
Yeah.
forced into this path. And
Mm.
that's why they became a barber. But then parang tinanong ko siya, are you
Yeah.
happy? Or there was a question like
Yeah.
that. And I said, yeah,
And
actually, I
no.
am happy. So,
Aww.
parang it's because of our circumstances. It's because of our maybe
Yeah.
choices in life as well, when
Yep.
Yeah.
that make us
Feeling.
either discover or lose our spark. But then
True.
it can also be because of other people, diba? Like
Right.
since you mentioned Gwen, diba, na parang apart from being human beings, di ba? We are also brothers, siblings, di ba? Etc. And when you mentioned someone taking care of someone else, I went through that, di ba? And for a time, parang there were moments wherein I would lose my spark because I wasn't getting the needed resources to be able to take care of my mom, who was, parang really sick, di ba? So I had to find the spark elsewhere in other things, diba? Through other experiences. So that's why I travel. That's why I spend time with the people that I love. Kasi yun nga parang there are situations wherein you might lose your spark, but then there are also situations wherein you will get the
Right.
spark. So it's very
Mm-hmm.
important
Mm-hmm.
talaga na parang we make
Really.
we make a conscious effort to really just live and breathe
Mm-hmm.
and take a
Mm-hmm.
break and
Yeah.
para enjoy what you have because otherwise more
Right.
overwhelmed
Right.
ka and then you'll become a
I
lost soul.
agree. 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 Mikey, I think adding to that, no, like yeah, amidst all the chaos that we have in life, I think you have to be introspective and sensitive to all the things that's happening in your life, for you
Mm,
to be able to find your
oo.
spark. No? Parang hindi yung tipong dumadaan lang in passing yung mga bagay-bagay nangyayari and then wala na, gigising ka na naman din trabaho, di ba?
Mm-mm.
Sometimes you have to be introspective. Sometimes may ibang tao na nagre-reflect at the end of the day, nagda-notes sa notebook or whatever, diary.
Ay,
Oh,
brilliant
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah, else nawala na. But
Oo
we
nga,
used to
oo
do
nga.
that
Oh
with,
my God.
pero grabe yun,
We need to bring
no?
that
Brilliant
back. We need to bring that
things.
back.
Parang Mike and I did that before, Gwenny.
Or
Nagpo-post kami
maybe
ng
we
story.
can rename
Yeah,
it. What about,
yeah.
sparks?
Ay, pwede. What's your spark for
So,
today? Diba?
yeah,
Ganyan.
spark one, spark two, whatever. Yeah.
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 I mean,
Why
but
not?
it helped you. It helped,
Amen.
ha? It
That's
helped you.
daily
Kasi,
spark.
It
Daily
is.
right.
spark exercise.
True, 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 true,
It
true. Yeah,
is.
it's
It
fine.
is. It is. It is.
Yun. Oy, but before that,
So,
we'd like, Mikey, sorry. We'd like to say hi to some of our friends in the
Yes,
chat.
actually mag-shoutout din ako.
Hi,
Shout out natin
Joy.
si
So,
Joy.
yes.
Kasama yan sa tahanan at sa BL community natin, no, Mikey. And lagi yung nandyan. So, uy,
Oh,
Joy is from Bohol, Bisaya siya, day. So, maayong gabi,
Uy,
Joy.
may gabi diha. Uy, may uy,
Yeah.
day. Um, yes, thank you for tuning in. I'd
Uh-huh.
also like to say hi, Nico, no, to my cousin. That's
Uh-huh.
Nico. Nico din yung name niya. Nico. Ang
ah,
Nikong is
Tokayo.
his name. Yung Che
Oh,
Patel Peñarroyo. Yeah, so
okay.
that's his wife. Hi, Che. Hi,
Hi,
Nico. Hi,
Oh, hi,
Nico.
Ted.
Chet.
Thank
Hi,
you so much for
Nico.
tuning in. So that's my cousin. So thank you.
Ayan.
Parang adopted
Yay!
brother ko na rin yan.
Join
Salamat
Also,
us,
sa
I'd like to say
pag-join.
hi
join
to
us in the
Yes.
conversation.
At
Darwin.
dahil
Ano
dyan, type nyo dyan, i-chat nyo anong spark nyo. At nag-spark
Yeah.
may relationship. Or,
True,
o
true,
diba?
true, true.
I actually agreed to all the things that you said. And tuloy, if I can just add, no, na, just shift a
Yeah.
little bit the conversation to really what's the point of all these sparks is now that we're talking about that, parang the question then would probably be
Darwin.
simple is that why do we need to find our sparks? I mean, what's the big deal,
Mm.
diba? And so
Yeah.
then my question for you guys would be, ano bang
Like that.
benefit? What would be the what could it bring you find your spark? Some of like I think Mikey mentioned na 'di ba, parang of course, 'di ba, we feel for people na parang you mentioned na parang you lost your spark at some point in your life
Mm-hmm.
and you got busy with your responsibilities, obligations to the family. That's why you try to travel and whatnot. And for me, I
Mhm.
think that
Right.
ourselves are also our obligations. Ourselves are also our responsibilities. And you
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm.
looking for those inspirations, we owe that to ourselves. But what is the benefit para sa inyo ba for finding these sparks? What can it do for us? What can it do for you guys?
Clear skin.
Well,
Yes, di ba?
Charot lang.
Ano may
Mag-spark
opening
tayo for
start?
clear skin.
Oo.
Again, I just want to say hi to Darwin. And he
Yes, yes,
actually
yes.
has an answer to what is his spark, diba? So he
Yeah.
says that he likes seeing people happy when he gives away tickets. So, ganun siya eh. He approaches people or I think
Yun
groups and
naman.
BL and then BL reactors and then parang he encourages them to give away tickets and then syempre natutuwa siya kasi when people get these tickets like for example maybe to an advanced screening or maybe to a movie like for example
Mm-hmm.
the MFF etc and syempre for him it gives him fulfillment I think so
Yeah.
generosity diba sabi nga nila generosity sparks joy and okay, so going to our question.
Uy, wait lang. May pa-shoutout talaga, Gwenny.
Hi,
Oh,
Ate Jen! My brother called
Ayan.
Magaling kumanta yan. Kanta sa Ate Be, please. Please sing.
sample.
Bisaya ka rin sa
Sample.
Send mo yung link.
Yan.
Umakyat.
I
Oo,
think
sana natin.
singing sparks joy and virtue.
Oo, pasok ka dito. Diba?
Yeah. Thank you, Ate Jen, for tuning in. Type mo naman
Yeah.
dyan what sparks you. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
So why do we need to find our spark? I guess parang in for me, in simplest terms, it's really we need to find our spark because we need to live fully, I would say.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun? Kasi
Mhm.
parang that's really the point of us being here, diba? Or that's really the point of life is for you to live it as fully. Nahirapan ako sa grammar. Live it as fully as possible, diba? Kasi parang I can't really put it into words, no. Pero siguro parang the opposite na lang. Parang if we don't find our spark, then really you go through life as a robot. I think you mentioned that already, di ba? Parang you're just going through the motions. Pero there's no joy, there's no happiness. Parang you don't
Yeah.
take pleasure in the little things, di ba? Kasi walang spark nga eh, di ba? So in relation to that as well, I think we need to find our spark because it's not always there.
Mhm.
It's not always available.
Mhm.
So yun nga, parang we need to find it, or we need to be able to get it, um, para we can continue on living. Kasi I think yun nga, parang when you don't have a spark, or when you've lost your spark, or when you ano, parang lose opportunities
Mhm.
to gain that spark, then ultimately parang you're just parang zombie ka na lang talaga sa buhay, di
That's
ba?
true.
Like
True.
for example, if you don't experience a spark anymore at work, and then you stay in that job for like 50 years, and basically for 50 years
Mhm.
you're not you're not happy. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's important to find your spark so that you can
Mhm.
really live fully. I think that's the best that I can do at this point right
Yeah.
now. You
Yeah,
know,
but
you
Ikaw,
guys.
Nico.
I, I have to agree with Mikey to live fully. Kasi ang hirap nung parang ganito lang oh. Minsan people sometimes find me weird kasi I find kunwari little things like ano ba? Kunwari order ka lang sa Grab tapos meron kang na-discover na pagkain. Tuwang-tuwa ka na, 'di ba? Ang ganyan. And ako I find so much
Yeah.
yung mga ganong bagay, discovers and explorations. And then
Mm-mm.
it excites you. And then pag tikim mo, ay, ang sarap pala, shucks. And people will be like, ba't ka na-excite? Eh, pagkain lang naman yan. Di ba? Sometimes you get drowned in these emotions and you're put in that zone and you end up almost becoming like a lost soul, di ba? And I don't want to be a lost soul. Di ba? So, ako
Yeah,
siguro,
yeah.
I'd like to parang hinge this or my answer to the idea of optimism, di ba? Or positivity. Kasi ang positivity or optimism is such an abstract word. I mean, how can you make someone positive? You can't just tell a person, hey, be positive. Think positive. Anong think positive sinasabi mo, di ba? And now, it makes more sense. Now, I think one way to really, parang cultivate optimism or positivity in your life is to find your spark. That's one way to really find,
Mm-mm.
cultivate optimism. Di ba kasi kung may spark ka, na-excite ka, you feel good eh. Di ba? Kahit pa
Yeah.
uh, how do you call this? Parang adverse na yung situation, di ba? Parang you
True.
tend to
Yeah.
find time. But
Right.
then again, you find something specific like a spark, no? Parang natutuwa ka sa mga maliliit na bagay, umorder ka lang dito or may nahanap kang parang memorabilia sa mga gamit mo and then natuwa ka bigla, may naalala ka, ganyan. These
Yes,
are
yes, true.
small
Right.
sparks in life. And then, i-value mo yun na parang, oh, shucks, gising ka sa umaga niyan. Ito pa, parang another spark is, di ba kanina, Gwen, you were sharing about your challenge the entire day. Huwag na natin sabihin ko ano yung specific challenge ni Gwen.
Oo, willing naman ako.
Back
Oo,
ka naman.
Pero
baka
go.
naman.
Back ka
Oo.
naman.
Pero, yun nga, what I
Ah,
said
yeah.
there was, di ba, I talked about self-love there. Nakarelate
Yeah.
talaga ako sa situation mo, Gwenny. Because I think Mikey also did have these experiences. We had these experiences na parang adverse, na parang ano ba tong araw na to? Parang ano ba to? Sinalpakan na tayo ng mga pangit na
Bingong bingo,
nangyayari.
di ba?
Bingong-bingo ka na talaga,
Awarded
di ba?
result.
Right. But at the end of the day, you have to be responsible in resolving all these things, right? And
Yeah.
once you resolve all these things, you feel good, di ba? You feel fulfilled. Oh, shucks, natapos ko to. Di ba? Kahit jabar
Right.
na jabar ka na buong araw.
Wow!
Di
Oh my
ba?
Amoy
gosh.
lupa ka na,
Wow.
ganun.
May lupa
So,
ka na, may
yeah,
araw ka
it's
na.
worth it.
Di ba?
Worth the effort of
Exactly.
going through that.
And I
Yeah.
think it's one of the sparks that you can get in life every day. Even paying your bills, di ba? It's fulfilling. And recently, ang pinaka-recent na spark ko talaga
Fulfillment.
is paying my
Adulting.
paying my bills talaga, day. As in, alam mo yun, parang it's self-love still. Kasi wala na akong iniisip. Ang gagawin ko na lang is
Yes. The
i-enjoy ko na lang tong live
satisfaction.
session
Exactly.
natin. Manood ko na lang ng
Yeah, yeah.
Netflix, whatever.
Wala ka nang inisip.
Right, right. And itong live natin, like Thursday Talks can be anything, right? We know that, right? We just keep on
Mm-mm.
yakking and talking and we're just ourselves, our talkative selves.
Yeah, that's true.
Diba? I feel good. I feel happy because it's my outlet to express myself, to talk to you, to hear you out, to have a different perspective. Yun. Pero yun nga parang it's a way to really be positive in life eh. Kasi ang hirap nung be positive, be positive. So I think that's my answer. It's for you to
Mm.
have a concrete exercise or parang way to really
Yeah.
cultivate optimism and positivity in life. Yes. And to have clear skin as well. Sure.
Wait, I agree.
Yes.
Actually, tama yung
Your
mga
scheme
sinasabi mo.
2021.
Funny lang talaga. Pero totoo
Yeah.
yun eh. Which reminds me, this leads to my answer naman. Yung
Okay.
can I just quote one line from Legally Blonde?
Yes,
Ayan na naman ako sa paligan-plan ko.
ilaban mo
And
yan.
when
Yes.
Woods was trying to explain to her co-lawyers that their client was um, innocent, di ba? She was
Yeah.
saying that because yung client nila is parang a guru, di ba? Or parang celebrity siya in
Mhm.
exercise. Diba? She ang stand niya is that, well, she does exercise, di ba? And exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. And happy
Okay,
people just
okay.
want your husband. And
True.
for me, it's just the same
Just don't kill
concept
your.
na you get to do more positive things in your life
Yeah.
when you are able to collect all these, or maybe parang, uh, how do you say that? You make it gravitate towards you, all this
Mm,
positivity, di ba? And to trigger that, you'll need a spark, di ba? And when you have
true.
that, when you're in that situation or condition, you are kinder to people. You are
Mm, agree.
passionate at doing what you do, di ba? You're a
Mm-mm.
better friend, you're a better mom because
Agree.
kabugnutin, di ba? And I
True.
think that's one of the benefits really of having this life filled with sparks and to constantly exercise, looking for them and looking in the right places, looking at them um, properly to find these
Mm-hmm.
sparks. Because
Mm-hmm.
for me, ang benefit kasi nun is kapag dumami yung little spark that you have in your life, it puts little um yung 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 sparks of joy nga, diba? It inspires you, little sparks of inspiration and creativity for you to do something. And for sure, at the end of the day, nagiging masaya ka. It adds to your happiness, it adds to your endorphin, it
True.
adds to your positive vibes that you in turn channel to other people.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you are able to do that, then diba, people are more happy to be around you and
Yeah.
you're
Agree.
contributing more to the positivity in other people's lives. And I think that's
Right.
a very
Right.
big benefit. If you guys are
Agree.
worried now, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm being selfless, but
Yeah.
baka lang we're forgetting that that can also translate to the kind of energy that you're giving other
True.
people. You're
True.
able to take care of yourself and make,
Agree.
put in some effort to make yourself happy and positive.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, I have to agree
Diba?
with. May pagpindot
Charot
ng
lang.
laban mo yan.
Laban
Wait,
natin ng bagong sound card.
oo. Wait, I have to agree with Gwenny kasi our friend Jabba, there was like a time na I mean we have these days na super down talaga
Yeah.
tayo and we couldn't even find our spark. Like pagising mo parang ano ba to? Alam mo parang baklang galit
Lagi ka
talaga
na
ako.
Ikaw
lang.
pala yung nakita
Oo.
ko.
Oo. And we just lose it. Eh, ganun talaga. Bugnutin.
Yeah.
Tama yung term mo, Gwenny. Bugnutin. Nagiging bugnutin talaga ako kasi moody akong tao. I don't know if it's a Virgo thing, Char. Mikey,
It
can you
is.
confirm?
It
Ay,
Yeah,
is.
it is. Diba?
eh,
Oo, super.
Yeah.
Hindi ko alam. Basta weird. Mood swings, whatever you call it.
We're
Anyway, so
very moody.
super. Super. Ayun. So there was like a time na pumunta ko sa parang eating area natin. Inisip ko talaga cafeteria. Ano cafeteria? Eating area. Okay.
True.
Pantry, yes. So, and then I felt so down. And then ang sabi ni na friend natin si Java, sabi niya, "Uy, okay ka lang ba?" Sabi ko, "Okay lang." Sabi parang hindi ka positive. Ay parang hindi ka masaya, naramdaman. And then like after a while, medyo sort of like changed my mood and I thought of something else. I think I did something, natapos ko yata or na-delete ko lahat ng mga emails ko. And I felt good again. Pagbalik ko sa pantry, sabi niya, "Uy, okay ka na." And alam
correct.
mo, tama yung, oo. Tama yung sabi ni Gwenny, parang na kumbaga it's contagious your energy, 'di ba? So if
Yeah,
you
it
are
is.
able to find your spark and you're happy and you're like all out, happy, tawa-tawa, ganyan, nararamdaman ng tao. And the moment naman nagbabago yan, mararamdaman talaga ng tao yan. So, yeah,
And we're interconnected, like what Mikey said, diba? You have to also be considerate with your effect and influence on others. Are
yeah,
you also sparking a spark in others, or are you taking that spark
true.
away?
True,
Right.
true, 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 true. I think
Diba?
in
So,
relation
hashtag
to
influencer style. Char.
yes. Oy, we're all influencers.
Diba?
We are
Yes.
all influencers.
That's true.
We are. Uy, parang along those lines, no, Gwenny, Mikey, yung sense of connectedness and being part of a group. I think Lance did share something. I don't know if it's the same concept, no, Lance. Let us know. Though I noticed that my spark has always to do with harmony. I think yung harmony in general, siguro
May
in life,
ano siya, follow up siya.
yeah. So sabi niya, all forms of harmony kasi after taking the Enneagram, you'll find what as of the moment is your core. Yan. So
I
sa kanya
haven't taken
siguro,
that,
Interesting.
the
ako
Enneagram.
rin, ako rin. We should take that. Sige.
Sige. Now
And
na,
so parang,
sa live na to. Char!
oo, ngayon na.
Joke. No, joke lang.
Oh, everybody, please check the link. Char, nagpa-enneagram tayo. Joke lang. Ayun. Gwenny, Mikey, what are your other thoughts?
Well, Mike
Hmm.
muna. Sabi
Go ahead, Gwen.
no,
I'm
I
still
mean,
thinking.
I think I've already, had, medyo ano naman, for me, siguro ang gusto ko lang sabihin is that it's not impossible. It's
Mm-hmm.
really how you are able to open your eye to the possibilities around you and
Yep.
to, diba, live in the moment because life is short. And
True.
although life is short, it's really in the quality of it, not in the quantity.
Hmm.
Parang you're living under 100 years, but every single day that you're living it is
Mm-hmm.
without any spark, without any joy, and
Yeah.
it's really more robotic and just you going through the motions of everyday life. That might not be a good way to, you know,
Go
leave a
forward.
memory of yourself or diba,
Yeah.
create a memory of
Mhm.
your life.
True.
As opposed to someone na hindi ganun kahaba ang buhay, pero, diba, it was
Mm-hmm.
so positive, so full of life, so, um, colorful. You're able to grab opportunities here and there and create an impact in the lives of other people. And I believe that those people who are very influential and powerful in creating a positive impact in the lives of other people, I think
Yeah.
that they're the most positive people and happy people, and they're those who
Agree.
follow their sparks as often and as much as they. So I would
Agree.
like to be that person, and I think.
Oy, yes. Pinakpakan niya
So,
yung sarili niya. Oh.
So, because he said that, I
yeah.
also got to thinking na parang, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there are a lot of days wherein parang I feel na parang, or I think na should I still continue this kind of
Yeah.
parang this thing that we're doing, di ba? Like
Yeah.
BBS and Thursday Talks, etc. Kasi
True,
di ba
true.
parang it can be sort of like daunting at times, and also
Yeah.
sometimes parang, for
You're
example,
fighting for.
yeah, parang you expect certain things, but then those things don't happen, di ba? But then yun nga, parang there will be moments, for example, wherein people would say na parang I'm listening to your conversation, I love the input, I love what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Tapos parang if, for example, I forget why we did this in the first place, that reminds me na parang oo nga naman, parang we started this thing anyways because we just wanted to talk about things, di ba? Like, for example,
True.
this. We're just talking. And if, for example, it ignites a spark in other people because of what we talk about,
Yeah.
then I know, parang it's all worth it, eh? Even if it's just one
Yeah.
person. So yun
Right.
nga, parang there will be moments, and there will be moments, especially if you're an influencer, for example, diba? There will be
Yeah.
moments wherein you won't have content, wherein you'll find it challenging to gain traction on what you're posting, or let's say there will not be any comments or any, let's say, responses to what you're
Mm-hmm.
posting or what you're saying, etc. Diba? But then always remember na yun nga eh, parang if you focus on that per se, then you're not gonna enjoy what you're doing because you're not living in the conversation anymore. You are parang conscious or focusing on the all these other things that if marikondo, di ba, parang that is
Right.
not sparking joy. So chuck that away. And
True, true.
I think it's very important that we always center ourselves, and medyo new age kind of thing. Pero it is very
Mm-hmm.
important talaga to quiet the voices or the noise in your head, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi
Oo.
if you allow those voices, if you allow the noise to overwhelm your present, then of course you're not going to be able to focus on what you are doing. You're not going to be able to enjoy what you are doing. Kasi yun nga
Yep.
eh, parang
That's true.
there's so much that's happening in your head. So, and I think that's why, di ba, in the movie as well, di ba? Parang when she focused on just what was happening around her, 22 finally realized what Earth could offer, di ba? Yung mga ganon.
Mhm.
So, I think that's also what we do as adults kasi, di ba? Na parang we think of so
Yeah.
many things. We are encumbered by so many priorities and emotions, di ba? And even, even our phones are, although they are
Yeah. So
tools for
busy.
communication, they're also tools for distraction, di ba? Parang
True.
and we talked about this in in one of our sessions, di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For work na parang makakita ka lang ng 12 notifications na aning ka na parang kailangan tingnan ko.
Oo.
Kailangan basahin ko to. Tapos mamaya mga ads lang pala or may nag-tag lang pala sa iyo,
Kainis.
napakapangit mo pang photo, di ba? Hindi mo lang inisip kung magugustuhan mo 'yon or hindi.
Oo.
But di ba, parang that's the thing eh, parang because we are not in the moment. We are not yun nga parang we are just so uh, encumbered by so many thoughts and so many
Mhm.
things. So kailangan talaga na parang we center ourselves and we quiet our minds and just breathe, I guess. That's it.
Yeah.
Breathe, yes.
Kahit 10 minutes a day lang, no? Why not?
Oo, di ba?
Oo, yeah. Wait, pero I like what you're saying. Siguro, I think since we're talking about how we can actually move forward, no, from this
Mm.
conversation. Ako naman, like, alam mo, pag pupunta ka ng, kunwari, grocery, I really, hindi talaga nakikipag-usap sa mga kahera
Gusto ko
before. As in,
yan.
dire-diretso lang. Ngayon, nakikipag-usap na talaga ako.
Oh.
As in, and it really ignites a spark in me. Ay, sarap ko makipag-usap sa tao. Kunwari, bagger, di ba? Ay, gusto magsasalita yan, "Sir, na, uy,
Mm.
saan po kayo nakatira, sir?" Mga gano'n, 'di ba? "Ay, diyan lang. Ikaw saan ka ba nakatira?" Gano'n. I don't usually do that, but 'di ba, tapos magpapahanap ako ng gulay, puro grocery talaga yung conversation ko, 'di ba? Parang
Oo.
yung mga ganyan. "Saan 'to galing?" Mga ganyan. Mga maliliit na conversation before hindi ako kunwari may magtatanong sa grocery, "Excuse me, saan yung
Mm.
ano?" Hindi siyempre iisipin mo, mukha ba akong ano dito, taga-shelf
Nagtatrabaho
ng
ba
mga
ako?
promodizer ba ako dito? Hindi. Ako sabi ko, "Ma'am,
Mm.
doon po tayo, ma'am. Ano pong tinatanong ko talaga anong lulutuin niya. As in,
Cordon
papaalamero.
bleu.
Pero
Chicken cordon bleu.
Why
Bakit ba?
not? Di ba?
magsasagot siya, "Ay, magtotola lang ako," ganyan-ganyan. Tapos magta-thank you siya. Ganyan. Ang sarap sa pakiramdam lang na parang these conversations spark some sort of joy in you. Na that sense of connectedness. Actually, ako to ha, like
Mm.
from a personal experience, I like that. And pag nakikipag-usap ka kunwari sa gugupit sa'yo, ganyan. Tapos dadaan ka, mga maliliit na bagay na ganyan, no? Parang, basta ako, conversation really, recently, has actually sparked some sort of joy in me na parang saya pala makipag-usap at mga uh, kung sino lang dyan sa, hindi naman kahit sino na lang dyan sa daan o bigla, na parang, "Hi, kumusta ka dyan?" Ang weird naman. Di ba?
Yung traffic ano, 'di ba? Enforcer. Biglang
Yeah.
nilapitan mo. "Eh,
Ay,
kuya,
oo.
kumusta naman yung araw?"
Oh my gosh, ayoko nang gawin yun. Grabe. Pero masaya yun. Yung mga ganun
Try mo
bagay.
minsan.
Oo. Tapos
Pero
there would be
Minsan
like,
mabalakat. Ganun.
yeah,
Mabalakat,
go ahead.
Pampanga. Actually, I've noticed that in you eh. I think it was
Yeah.
just more highlighted because of the pandemic. Pero
Mm,
you find spark talaga eh. I mean, you spark up, if that's a term. You spark up when
yeah.
you have conversations, especially thought-provoking conversations with people.
Talaga?
You light up. Oo. Ganun ka
Oy.
talaga.
Yes. Kasi I think
Ako
lahat tayo.
naman, I do. Although I will have to say and admit na there are some times wherein, I guess it depends on who I'm talking to or what the conversation is
Mm,
about. Because there are
mm.
conversations wherein parang, oh my God, I can't get out of this. I can't get out of this conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry. Alam mo yun, yung parang,
Depends on the
oh my
the
God.
vibe of the person.
Oo.
Parang, what excuse am I gonna give?
Yeah.
Mga ganun. Alam mo
Uy,
yun.
nakarelate ako doon. Grabe.
Mga
Okay.
ganung bagay talaga. Or sometimes I don't even respond. Like if
Yeah.
I just grunt, like for example, okay. And then I don't say anything more. Alam nyo na yan, guys.
Yeah.
Take note
Ayan
of
ha.
that.
Noted po, Char.
Diba? Noted with thanks.
Oo.
Diba? Pero ano parang I'm interested in the conversation. If, for example, I always have a comeback question, or
Mm,
I reference what you say, and then parang I
yeah.
piggyback off of what
Think
you
about.
said. Or even if, for example, I look off, you guys know what I do, di ba? Parang tumitingala ako. Tapos
Yes.
I'm,
Yes.
parang
Trying to
nag-iisip ako
process.
eh.
Oo.
Oo, I'm processing it eh. Pero kung parang nakatingin lang ako sa'yo, tapos parang blanco lang talaga yung mukha ko. Wala.
Yeah.
Alam
There's no
na. Alam
spark.
na.
There's no spark, guys. Alam mo yun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Again, it's that specific combination of person, topic, mood. Alam mo yun? It's all those
Right,
things.
right.
So there just has to be the right mix.
Uy,
And
feeling
that's
ko
why
may...
they say that you have to um you have to surround yourself with
Mm,
positive people so that you also get their energy.
true.
Because
Yeah.
if you're always
Uy, totoo yan.
surrounding yourself with toxic people and stress, diba?
Mhm.
It's okay to
Mhm.
be a friend. It's okay to do that every once in a while. But parang, diba, to keep that balance in your life, kailangan mo rin ng fuel, diba? Something that would
Mm,
do something good in your life also. So, parang, dapat nga,
Yeah.
diba, you connect more with people who provide something positive in your life, contribute something good, then influence you in a positive way.
yeah.
So,
Let me add to that. I think there are also certain things wherein parang you have a spark, but then that spark alone is not enough. If I may put it into a context, diba? Parang, for example, parang you have this passion project that you want to fulfill, diba? Like a play, etc. Diba? So
Okay,
parang,
yeah.
tama ka eh, parang you have to be able to surround yourself with people who have the same spark, not necessarily positive in this case, but more of passion, di ba? Passion for the arts,
Mhm.
passion for theater, passion for
Mhm.
singing, passion for
Yeah, yeah.
playwriting,
Right.
or passion for, I don't know, lighting or
Yeah.
sound staging. I don't know. Di ba? So parang, yun nga eh, parang there will be instances wherein for your spark to flourish, you have to find other people who share the same spark. Di ba? Kasi
Mhm.
that's how big things, di ba? Or great things happen sometimes. Parang it takes a group or it takes a few individuals to,
Mhm.
let's say,
take
ignite.
many sparks to make a fire.
Correct, to make
God,
a fire,
yes.
or to make an explosion, or to make a or
To
to
make a
make a spark.
firework display.
Correct. There are actually three things to make a fire happen. Sure. Diba? A spark, fuel, and
Uh,
oxygen. Diba? Diba? Tama ba?
uh,
Yeah.
yes,
Parang,
yes.
parang ganun. So yun. So and the reason why I thought of that is because of what you said, and also because recently, di ba? Parang we talked to Direct Dolly Dulu, who made
Mhm.
The Boy Foretold by the Stars. So
Yes,
yun nga
yes.
parang she had a germ of an idea, which is basically
Mhm.
a story, and then the reason why the story even happened was because she was with like-minded individuals, or siguro
Mhm.
like spark individuals, diba? Parang it was a
Mhm.
writing workshop, and because of that, that spark in her was ignited, and parang it became like a flame, etc. And then finally
Yeah.
she meets Jody San Maria, who also has a spark for producing, and
Yeah.
who was sparked by the story that she wanted to tell, di ba? So parang nag-ano na
True.
parang nagtulong-tulungan na yung mga sparks na yun to be able to create this final product, which is basically a movie. Di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
And because of that movie, nag-spark rin sa atin kasi it resonated with us, di ba? Parang yung
Yeah.
experiences of the lead characters, di ba? Parang also the message that they were trying to say, di ba? So parang,
Mhm.
ayun parang it's just a chain of events, or a chain of sparks that
Right.
created all of these things, and we're all the
Right.
better for it, I would have to say.
Right. And it goes back to the question a while ago, yung tinanong ko talaga, na where do we find, I mean, how do we start this spark eh? So, I think, yeah, at sabi mo, parang a spark, a chain of events, a chain of sparks, diba? Ganun eh. Parang you can't just depend on yourself. But the thing is, you just have to be open to these opportunities to these experiences Kasi for all you know, dumadaan yan, tapos binabaliwala mo lang, yun na pala talaga yung makakatulong sa to find your spark at the end of the day, diba? Uy, parang maganda yung kay Direct Dali, no? Quickie lang. Kasi parang di ba tinanong natin, Mikey, kung ano yung course niya ng college? Parang she took a different
European
course.
studies
European,
talaga.
European
Yeah.
studies.
Di ba represent?
Yeah.
And then, but the reason I asked that question is because I wanted to know. Kasi ako, I've, you know me, parang I've always wanted to like do something like that. Like, film. Ang dami ko mga eksenang ganun. Pero hindi ko talaga siya
Correct.
nasisimulan ever. Di ba?
Correct, di ba? Oo.
Yung ganun. But with her kasi, parang shocks. European studies. And then nagsulat siya. And nasa teatro siya talaga. And it's really relatable to me. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It
Mm-mm.
sparked something in me. Really, to tell you honestly. Parang shocks. Gusto kong magawa yung mga ganang mga proyekto. Di ba? Hindi imposible eh. Di ba? So
Yeah.
And
yun.
it just goes to show that maybe there are decisions that you make which doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily jive with your spark. Like for example, European studies, parang hindi naman yun connected sa script writing, hindi naman yun
Yeah.
connected sa directing, di ba? Pero yun
Yeah.
nga eh, parang a lot of us maybe only discover our spark a little bit later on, but it doesn't mean that you will
Mhm.
never find it, di ba? So I guess what I'm trying to say is for all of you out there who may not know what your spark is, don't
Mm.
lose hope because you just might
Yes.
find it. Maybe
Right.
you just have to try out different things, diba?
Right.
Kasi
Right.
maybe
Right.
the reason why you haven't found it yet is because you are on this path, and this path is in the straight and narrow. Maybe you have to take a left turn
Mhm.
somewhere or a right turn somewhere, or maybe you have to do something else. Because if this
Yeah.
is not giving you your spark, then you have to change your routine, diba? Even
Yes.
Yeah.
maybe just
Exactly.
the places that you hang out in. So, imbis na Starbucks, mag-coffee bean ka naman, gano'n.
Yeah.
Baka naman.
Coffee bean, baka naman,
Baka naman, no?
di ba? Mga ganun bagay.
True.
Yes.
True.
Anyways, I'm just saying. You know, it's in the
But,
details.
picking up from what Mikey said a while ago, no? Like, ito even our live session. I'll be like, be very, very, very straightforward with you guys. Parang the reason also that, kasi it started with voice notes eh. Doon tayo nagsimula eh. Aminin niyo yun. Diba? As in, random.
Yung
As in, mga,
walang kwenta ang mga voice notes
True.
natin.
True.
ever. As in,
You
doon
just
nagsimula.
start. Oo.
Tapos parang ano, usap-usapan ganun. Uy, sabi ko, nakakatuwa naman pala 'to. Parang dynamics natin ganun kineme. Tapos
Yeah.
biglang one
Correct.
time, Mike and I parang tested stream for another group, BBS. Sinama natin
Yeah.
si Gwen and si Ben. And then sabi ko,
Wow.
wait lang, may spark. I mean, tayong apat Sabi ko, this will
Correct.
work. So I think going back to what Mikey said a while ago, first thing, no? Parang I think even this, what we're doing is even a consequence of that spark. And I think you guys, each of you, Wenny, Mikey, Ben, you have that
Mm-mm.
spark in talking, in conversing. Di ba, pag backstage tayo, iba, I mean, we have a different kind of conversation. Pero pagdating dito, parang, hala, nag-iiba na yung dynamics natin. Kuda na tayo ng kuda. Di ba? Ang dami na natin na pag-uusapan. Because that's the
Oo.
spark working. I
And,
guess that's my take. Ha? Yeah. Yun.
Oo.
and to add to that,
Case,
Nico, I feel that people should not also waste their sparks kasi like in the
Yeah.
concept of sparking a fire, di ba? Pag spark,
Mm-hmm.
parang hindi mo siya aaksayahin eh because the reality of it is even if you have a spark and you let
Mm-hmm.
it die, then
Yeah.
sayang yung opportunity mo that you let it pass and nawalan ka na ulit ng time, nawalan ka na ulit ng
Oh,
energy or ng drive to pursue that after you
yeah.
had that spark, then sayang lang yung momentum na yun. And I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like it's still a responsibility to actually act on those sparks at the end of the day.
Right. Right. I agree. I
correct.
agree.
And it is, parang it is your, dare I say it is your responsibility to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yourself
Yeah.
to keep that spark
So
or
that
to
is
find
Agree.
those sparks.
Agree.
Parang because you deserve it eh, diba?
yeah,
So,
you deserve it. Exactly.
guys, ilaban
Make you a
natin
better
yan.
person.
Laban natin yan. Wait,
Kaya
totoo
di
yung,
ba?
totoo yung sinabi ni Mikey kanina na pag nasa bahay, ako talaga, I will be totally honest. Pag nasa bahay talaga, mag-isa lang ako dito for days and wala akong interaction with people, ay, dahil nawawala talaga yung spark. But the moment
Naaning ka din.
Ice in. But the moment I talk to people, like recently we met, di ba? Over lunch.
Yeah.
Hello,
Mm-mm.
ando na naman si Boklo. Energized na naman ako. For some reason. And it comes back. So I guess yun nga, you have to go out there eh. Di
You
ba?
have to go out there.
Engage, interact, and then find these little things out there. Huwag kang matakot. I know it's kind of not safe now, of course. You have to follow safety protocols, wear your mask and face shields, di ba? But hindi naman laging pagpupunta ka ng talipapa, kausapin mo lahat ng mga nagtitinda doon, nagbo-butcher doon, di ba? Katakot naman yung risk mo naman doon, di ba? But you have to
Laban.
also consider your safety, di ba? Ayun, yun lang.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think no to parang for people na may spark na din, dapat for me personally, I think you'll have to pair it with the right purpose that will keep
Mm,
it going. Kasi I think for me, a spark is just meant to ignite you or start you, get you started on something, a change
yeah,
of direction, pursuing an endeavor, di ba? Or
yeah,
pursuing a dream. But it's how you are able to consistently keep going, 'di ba? Yung the will to go on will come from your purpose of why you're doing it. So I feel
true.
what I'm saying to people listening sana is that let's not have the impression sana na a spark is going to like change your life and save your life and it's just gonna be the only ingredient that you'll need. It's there, but for me, you'll have to really pair it with a lot of things. Hard work, um,
Mhm, mhm.
parang uh, constantly surrounding yourself with positivity, diba? And finding that purpose to pair with your spark to
Yeah,
have the diba, reason to keep doing it or going. So for me, um, a spark is a very good start, I think, to something great for a person to do and pursue in their life. So yun, that's for me.
yeah, yes. Yun.
So yan ang pag-uusap natin. So if we were to summarize pala, Nico and Mike,
Uh,
for our viewers then, so how do we, parang the things that we've tackled
Yeah.
in a nutshell, di ba? How do we find our sparks? We mentioned earlier that we would like to maybe explore our environment, be open our eyes, be open to
Mhm.
experience, be open to new things.
Yeah.
Another would be to constantly interact with people. No, don't close yourself off to
yeah.
people. Talk to people, whether it's virtually or diba, maybe just listening to conversations. Diba, parang learn from people that can also maybe help you get some sparks from there. And
Yeah.
I think one more thing that I've captured from what we talked about is to find that me time for you to reflect, stop and reflect, to drown out the noise, like what Mikey said, and
Yes.
to focus and help yourself be in the moment, to live in the moment with everything that you're doing. Para mahanap mo yung spark dun sa bawat bagay na ginagawa mo. And kahit
Yep.
busy ka, sa everyday na ginagawa mo, magkaroon ka ng 10 minutes, yourself time, to
Mhm.
focus on where you are, di ba, your environment, to look for those sparks.
Yeah.
Exercise that on a daily basis to look for those positive things. And
Right.
I guess one last thing for me is constantly keep doing the things that you like. Do more of what you love. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and surround
Absolutely.
yourself with positive people. And
Yes.
I hope I didn't miss out on anything that we
Yes. You
tackled
said
so far.
everything. Yep.
Ayun. I love this
Yeah.
conversation. Thank you so much.
Super. Super.
Actually, I didn't think it would
Yeah.
last this long. Ang dami natin nasabi.
Oo.
Yes, di ba? Ayan. So for our viewers, no, yung mga kakapasok lang, sulat nyo pa rin sa chat and we can still read your comments
Yep.
naman.
Yep.
What
Yep.
sparks you? What do you do to find that spark? And yeah, any questions that you might have for us, just put it down there or anything that you'd like to share about finding your
Mhm.
spark and about the things that um, became positive in your life because of your sparks. Share it with us and
Yeah.
let us learn from you as well.
True, true.
And
Right.
Siguro, last thoughts na lang din for me. I think the reason that we decided to have this topic tonight is for us to veer away from what has been happening, right? I mean, we've been hearing news here and there. We'd like
Mm.
to not really deny ourselves from all these pieces of information, all these is happening. No, we were not denying these things anyway.
we're not
But
trying
we're
to
here.
escape reality.
No, no, we're not. This is not a form
Mm.
of escape. No, it's not really escapism. No, but it's a form of really grounding yourself, and then be more not really just positive, but finding a reason to wake up every day, be excited, be happy, look for the little things, the fine things in life. Yun lang, diba?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, well, I'm looking
Mikey,
at the
any last
comments
word?
and
Last word?
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
last words. I think I wanna address a question from Lance now.
Yes.
Because I agree with everything that you guys said, so I'm not gonna reiterate that. But for example, taking a rest from chasing sparks a good thing or a bad thing? I think it all depends on what you need at that very moment, diba? Kasi
Yeah.
I think there will be instances wherein you don't feel like chasing a spark because sabi nga ni
Mhm.
Gwen, diba? Parang there are moments wherein you lose the spark to find your spark. Oh, yun. So parang may chain reaction na ganun, diba?
Yeah.
And I think that is okay. But if, for example, you are in that zone for too long, maybe let's say 3, 4, 5 days na, tapos parang you still don't have any spark, or parang
Mhm.
you've sort of like went into a space wherein parang mentally and emotionally you're not well, then
Mhm.
I think it is time to get up and find a spark, di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi
Yeah.
it's very important because again, it keeps you going, it keeps you living, and it keeps
Yes.
you wanting to move forward, di ba? So also, I think that Lance also mentioned, what if the spark becomes a routine?
Mhm.
I'm not sure if that is possible,
Mhm.
because it's actions that become routine. But in terms of the spark, I don't think a spark can become a routine. Kasi
Agree.
yun nga eh, parang,
Maybe the spark got lost somewhere.
di ba? Maybe a spark can lead you to something, a job, for example, that becomes a routine. But I think
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
spark itself can be sourced from other places, di ba?
Yeah.
And for me, on a from personal experience, parang the spark isn't constant. That's why it's a spark na lang, di
Right.
ba?
Right.
Um,
Igniting lang
so
siya. Just
na
igniting.
ano lang siya, correct. And for example, if I go to, and we talked about me loving traveling, di ba? So for example, if I go to Taiwan, then um, there's a spark there, di ba? And then I come back to Manila, and then parang walang spark because I'm usually in Manila. Alam mo yun? So that's why, I mean, yun nga eh, parang
Doesn't
you,
last. Doesn't
but there
mean,
are,
yeah.
yes, I mean, but there are things that I love about Manila. So for example, if I go to a new restaurant, diba? Or
Mhm.
let's say I watch a new movie, alam mo yun, parang it's all parang may spark, and then after that, etc. Just like for example, when you keep on watching the same movie over and over again, the
Yeah.
spark from the first time that you watched it is
Mhm.
not necessarily the spark that you will have the
Mhm.
10th time that you watch it. I mean,
Mhm.
there may be still an inkling of it, but it may not be the same intensity or maybe the
Right.
same effect, diba? Because you know what already happens in the movie. So, kumbaga, alam mo yan. So, yun. I won't be worried that the spark becomes routinary because I think the spark will always be a spark. It's just
Yeah.
that the things that we do and the experiences that we have may become familiar. But I think the
Mhm.
spark will always be a spark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right. I agree. Yes. I think may isa pang question si Lance somewhere.
Uh,
Di ko na makita eh. Uh, ito. I think na nasagot na natin to. If the spark is no
yeah.
longer official, you put a Marie Kondo on it. Yeah.
Ano ba sabi ni Marie Kondo? Hug it, hold it close, and thank you, and then let go.
May condo ka
Exactly.
naman.
You
Yes.
move on.
May condo ka naman.
Kasi
Oo.
ano, I think that's a danger kasi, di ba? Kasi if for example, may na-experience kang spark dun sa specific thing na yun, and then you try to keep going back to it, or you try to hold on to it because you
Mhm.
feel that the spark is always gonna be there. You expect that spark to be the same. Of course, you're gonna be disappointed because again, di ba, parang the spark can, maybe it's not meant for that anymore. Alam mo yan? So parang ganun.
Mhm.
So, kasi I think that's one of the reasons why there are lost souls, because they try to hold on to something that they
Mhm.
think will give them that spark. Pero if it doesn't
Right.
anymore and they're still holding on to it, sabi mo nga Gwen, di ba? Parang if you're holding on to something too tight and you don't open up your palm for to receive other sparks that may be,
True.
making its way towards you. So it's very important that we, if it's not sparking anymore, let it go.
Let it go. Yes.
And
Yes.
for me,
Ganun.
parang, we don't want to, like ako personally, I don't want to tie my happiness to just sparks. Kasi for
Okay,
me,
Yeah.
yes.
sparks are meant to help you start and create something beautiful in your life or pursue something beautiful in your life that is meant to be more permanent, and that's what's going to
Yeah.
give you lasting happiness, not really the
Mhm.
spark, but what the spark creates,
Yep.
what the
Mm.
spark helps you create, what the spark leads you to, that will be, that could be the source of your lasting happiness. So whether the
Mm.
spark leads you to pursue a dream or a career, and that's what helps you become happy because you love doing that job, or if a spark leads you to have a change in, diba, you know, gives you the idea that you want to migrate or go to another country, and then you ended up
Oh.
loving it there. So
New
Right.
Zealand.
the spark
Ganun.
achieved its purpose, right? But
Right.
yung lasting happiness is really the in
Yes.
what you've created or what you've pursued after that spark.
It's,
Diba? Parang
yes.
ganon. Ganon. How I
And
see it.
ayun nga parang I think we also have to remind ourselves na the spark does not equate to happiness, di ba?
Yeah,
Kasi a
Mhm.
spark
Mhm.
can be a creative spark, di ba? Which makes
Yeah.
you, I don't know, right, di ba?
it pushes
So
you, it
if,
triggers you to do something.
True.
right, but well, if writing gives you happiness, then that is a byproduct, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
it is not
yeah,
the spark itself. So alam mo,
yes,
parang
yes,
yeah, it's
exactly.
inspiration basically. So it's a spark. Hey guys,
Or or
we're
if
not
you're a
experts,
writer,
huh?
yes,
Yeah,
it's an idea of a
it's
story.
just
Diba? Parang ganon.
yeah. And
Right.
guys,
Right.
ano parang again to go back to what we said earlier, parang each of us have our own sparks, and maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
your interpretation of a spark can be different from ours. I mean, we're
Yes,
not
Mhm.
experts on sparks or whatever, parang we're just
yeah,
talking about it, and this is our idea about it, and
true.
hopefully it maybe sparked your own ideas as well. So
True.
that's it.
True. True.
I
True.
agree.
Once you have moments that excite you, parang don't get drowned by other emotions that put you down, right? If you're there in the
Mhm.
moment, be in the moment. Like be excited,
Yeah.
be happy, go for it.
Experience
Yun lang.
it.
Yes.
Yes.
Baby,
True.
you're a spark.
Spark
Oh,
your work.
Gusto ko yan.
kainis. Ayan.
Maya,
All
maya.
right.
After nito, maghahanap na ako ng spark.
Spark
Maghahanap
plug.
na ako ng spark sa refrigerator.
Gusto ko yan.
Diba?
Yeah. Actually, meron sa Baguio. Sa Baguio ba? People's Spark.
Ay, kakainin.
Ay, alam ni Lance yan. Lance. People spark.
Ay, Diyos ko.
Lance, thank you so much for
Kainis.
being with us. Talaga
Thank you,
naman.
guys. Grabe.
Spark.
Pasensya na. Nag 2 hours tayo. Dal-dal-dal.
I would like to say hi before we end our
Lang
sessions,
tayo
bro.
ngayon, ha? What if apat pa tayo?
Yes.
Diyos ko.
Nako, tatlong oras. Char. I would like to say hi to some of our friends in the chat. We
Hi,
have
brother. Hi,
Rocky, we
Rocky.
have a
Hi,
brother
Rocky.
also.
Hi,
Yeah.
brother.
Hi, BRD.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been listening. Ay, thank you, ha.
Perfect.
Raquel, Francisco, hi.
Hope may
Yeah.
sense kami para sa inyo, guys.
Marvin,
Oh,
thanks for tuning in. Next week ulit.
Ikahan lang talaga to.
yes. So, mag-end na ba tayo ng session natin?
I guess.
Pwede. Maghahanapan
Yeah.
pa tayo
Yes.
ng spark.
Correct.
Yes. Go ahead, Mikey.
We're gonna leave you guys to it, and we hope that this sparks something in you guys to
Yes.
start finding your spark. And thank you
Yeah.
very much for being ours.
Yes. We really appreciate you guys for joining us. And hopefully this conversation sparked other conversations, maybe you with your friends, or maybe it sparked an idea, or maybe it sparked an emotion in you. So whatever it is, hopefully you got your spark for tonight. And hopefully you will join us again next time. We're here every Thursday, 9 o'clock usually. We'll see how that goes. And thank you very much for joining us. If you want to follow us on our social media, it's Thursday Talks. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course on YouTube. And if you like our conversation, go ahead and share it with your friends and spark a conversation. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Happy
you. Thank you so
Thursday
much.
Happy
and
Happy
Thursday,
Thursday.
everybody.
Hi,
See you
happy
next.
Tina.
weekend.
Shout
Yes.
out to
Bye,
Tina and
everybody.
Bye.
Lola.
Stay safe. Bye.